I'm Molly Goodwin, the CEO and owner of the Boston Renegades. We're here today with a new show to tell you a little bit more about who we are and what you can expect from the upcoming season. We are the current national champions of the Women's Football Alliance Pro Division, and what we'd like to do today is start by giving you a high-level description of the league and what the league is looking for and the vision for the year. So we've brought in a guest, our inaugural guest, Jess Dodge.
Very excited.
Yeah, me too. We hope that many of you have been watching us on Revere TV before or coming to Harry Delarusso Stadium to check us out. But this is a new program that we thought we'd be able to tell you some new facts and figures about the team and to introduce you to some influential people in the league and to introduce you to some of our players and our staff. So with that, we'll start with you, Jess. Welcome again, and how about you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role within the WFA Pro?
Absolutely. So my name is Jess Dodge, and my background is in business. I didn't grow up in the Boston area. I actually grew up in Vermont, and I went to St. Michael's College up there in Burlington. But yeah, my role within the league as a CEO is to help establish and foster partnerships with different organizations that can help grow the sport of women's tackle football. Also build out our business operations, make sure everything is running nice and smoothly, and last but certainly not least, and probably one of the most rewarding and my favorite parts of all of this, is to amplify our incredible athletes and their voices and their backgrounds and their stories. So really excited for the upcoming 2023 season, which kicks off in April.
Yeah, thank you. Our players, I think people, when they get to meet them, are not only impressed with their athleticism, but when they meet them, they see how incredible human beings they are. And so I think it's a nice addition to our league to actually be able to tell more about our players as humans too. So that's great. This is your first season with WFA Pro, but can you tell us, from digging into it, what you saw happen last year and what your vision is and your challenges are for the coming year?
Absolutely. So there are some really exciting changes coming up for the 2023 season, and one is that we have more partnership support. So we've been able to pull in some additional partners to help support the growth of the league. We will be televised a lot more. So the Women's Sports Network, the WFA Pro, is the exclusive women's tackle league on the Women's Sports Network. So we're really excited to have 11 of our regular season games streamed there. We're also on For the Fan, so we'll have games streamed on FTF. And yeah, I mean, a big part of the 2023 season is to focus on the WFA Pro teams and growing those teams and making sure that each of the organizations in their respective markets are able to grow their relationships within their own communities, build up the talent on their team, and really build market awareness.
Yeah. For our fans, maybe you could tell us who the teams are within the Pro League.
Oh, absolutely. So this is like a test. So there's 14 teams in the Pro League. Obviously, the Boston Renegades, we have the Pittsburgh Passion, we have the Tampa Bay Inferno, we have the DC Divas, the St. Louis Slam, Minnesota Vixen, Detroit Venom, and then we keep going west to the Texas team. So we have the Arlington Impact, Houston Energy, the Dallas Elite Mustangs, and then we also out west have the Cali War and Nevada Storm and Denver Mile High Blaze.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
There's a lot of teams.
I did test you there.
When I first started with the league, I actually made some flashcards to help me with that process.
Yeah, there are a lot of moving parts and a lot of people and a lot of names.
Yeah.
Now, you said one of the focuses is our new partnerships with the league. Can you tell me what impact you hope those partnerships will have, and talk to us a little bit about what those new partners should be thinking about when they look to invest in a women's sport?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I think most people know that women's sports have taken a little bit longer to take off in comparison to men. There is still a disparity there. We really categorize different partners in different ways. Not all partners are going to bring dollars to the table, but some partners can bring great relationships, great partnerships, and what we're focused on is our ultimate vision, which is to really grow this for the next generation of athlete and kind of close the gap in the disparities. But from a partnership perspective, with the huge exposure that we now have with the Women's Sports Network, with local television, a lot of our teams are local in their markets, and the fan base growing at games and our social media presence, all of those things combined make it a great investment to advertise with the Women's Football Alliance Pro Division.
Along with that, there were two really exciting numbers that came out today over the last few days, and one was the viewership numbers for the women's Final Four and the overall March Madness tournament. So I think that dispels any notion of people not wanting to watch women's sports. The other numbers that came out today and over the last couple months is that the NWSL is having expansion teams, both in Utah and Boston, as we know. And the buy-in for both those teams was $53 million, just as a franchise fee. And today we found out that the Bay Area will also have a new NSL team. Their buy-in was $53 million, so it's already gone up. And they've announced that they're going to spend $125 million to get the team up and running for 2024. It's incredible. Talk to me about how some of these other leagues and their success is going to benefit us, and how can we start to tap into that as an organization?
Yeah, absolutely. Before I get into the business side, though, I'm most enthused about the impact that that's going to have on the young girls' lives in those areas. They're going to be able to have access to these teams, be able to go and see these women play and really dream bigger than they ever have before. So really happy about that piece of it. I think what it says about women's sports in general is that the market is primed. I mean, these decisions don't happen on a whim. There are analytics, there's background research that happens before these individuals and these organizations are making these large investments, and the market is ready. Women's sports are very popular, right? There's different organizations that are trying to make it more accessible. So from a media coverage perspective and from a partnership perspective, big things are happening. When it comes to the WFA Pro, I would say that we're a little bit further behind. We have unique challenges in that, in comparison to soccer or basketball or some of these other sports, there isn't as much of a pipeline all the way through, and it's not as common that girls are playing, tackle football. I know when I was younger, I was patted on the head and told, girls don't play football, go find something else. Yeah. And I found other sports where I could wear a helmet and, be aggressive. But yeah, I think the biggest thing for the WFA Pro is to continue to grow and really create a sustainable foundation for growth and make sure that every step that we take forward, we would never be going backwards. And I think the NWSL and the WNBA have all had, their ups and downs and sideways, and we can learn from that, and we can, work to grow in a sustainable way with great partners.
Yeah, you had mentioned that we are newer, but there's been football in Boston for over 20 years, and there's been women's tackle football since the 70s. So we are kind of in a nascent stage, but I think we're moving towards a point where we can, we really can benefit from these kinds of things, and the growth and the opportunity is there.
Absolutely.
When we are marketing for our team, one of the things that we see is the big brands want to see ROI immediately versus taking a look at us for the value and the vision and the opportunity. So some of these numbers, again, are going to start to show that not only is there opportunity, but there's real money behind it. Just can you tell us a little bit about the disparities that you see between girls and women and boys and men as you move forward with this space?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of people who have spent a lot of time growing women's tackle football for, like you were just talking about, for decades. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears has been put into growing this, and it's come so far. And everybody that's contributed to that should feel so proud of everything that they've done to bring us to this point where we now have a platform where we can propel it forward faster. But with that being said, everybody that's involved with the league, everybody that's involved with the different teams, even most of the players are here because they have a calling, and that calling is related to the huge disparities between what it looks like for a girl or a woman to play tackle football and a boy or a man to play tackle football, right? And we are strong, and we are going after these issues with a positive attitude and excited to make adjustments, make changes. But simply put, from a finance perspective, men get paid millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Women have to pay to play the sport. Right? So that's a huge difference between the two. National champions, the men have parades and millions of people show up, and there's huge rewards for all of them. In some cases, there may be no real big party for the women who win a national championship and are playing at the top level of the game, right? And then from a role model's perspective, young girls who are wanting to become tackle football players, they don't see their role models as often as a young boy. I have 2 boys, and they are big NFL fans. Of course, they're also big WFA Pro fans, but they get to see those role models and see who they could become often and almost every day on social media, on the news, listening to the radio, right? So those are some of the disparities that as a league we're recognizing are there, and we're working together with different partners to help us tackle those. And these aren't things that are solved in a week or a month or a year. These are things that take a lot of time. So we are working through those and coming up with strategic plans to make sure that we can tackle them and, sort of make the gap smaller between what it looks like to be a boy that wants to play football and a girl that wants to play football.
Can you tell us a little bit about what the season looks like, the start dates, the number of games, the championship?
Yeah, absolutely. So the season kicks off on April 22nd. I'm really excited. I'll actually be out at the Denver, Nevada Storm game. It will be broadcast on the Women's Sports Network. So very excited to be there, to be, in it with the teams and meeting with the fans and just, enjoying the game and enjoying the fact that football's back. We have a 6-game season, so each team plays 6 games. Some teams have a bye week, and there's some holidays in there. And then all of that leads up to playoffs in our national championship game at the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio on July 22nd.
Terrific. We hope to be there. And just a quick note, we have a bye that first week, so our opening game is the 29th of April. And football has been around since the 1970s, women's tackle football. Yeah. It's been in the Boston area for over 20 years, and we not only have the league here in the U.S., we also have an international presence and a world championship. The U.S. has won 4 world championships dating back to 2010, and we have on our team a handful of players that played not only on the U.S. national team, but for Finland, for England, for Australia. Talk to us a little bit about the international level and what you see, the kinds of things that we're doing there along with USA Football.
Absolutely. So it's really fun to talk to people who have not heard about women's tackle football, and they're like, "Wait, women play? Are you sure women play tackle? Yes, women play tackle football." And then you start to talk to them about the WFA Pro has 14 teams. The WFA as a whole has 65 teams across the U.S. And the mission has really been to provide opportunities for women to play tackle football, right? Because it's hard to find teams to be a part of, especially at the younger ages, like the teenage years. But at the international level, then we start to talk about the international level, and Mexico has a team, Finland has a team, Germany has a team, right? The UK has a team, and they're really good. And a lot of these players actually like to come to the U.S. and play as part of the WFA Pro. The Boston Renegades have some of those players. So women's tackle football internationally is growing, just like men's tackle football internationally is growing, and we're really excited to help support other countries in their best practices. USA Football is doing an amazing job with that as well, sort of building the awareness and ensuring that it's safe for everyone and they have the right equipment, and everybody's ready to go and have fun with the sport.
Yeah. What are some suggestions you have for our viewers on how they can best support not only the Renegades but the league?
Yeah, so there's really 4 ways that you can support women's tackle football. One is to be a fan. So, and being a fan is showing up, following us on social, just engaging with anything that the team or the league is putting out there. The second is to be an advocate. So not only are you doing that for yourself, but you're bringing along a few friends to games, you're sharing it with your network, you're really helping to build awareness that women play tackle football, and it's at a really high level. And then the third is to be a donor. So if you're somebody who's really passionate about seeing women's sports grow, there's a great way that you can make an impact locally, and that is to become a donor of the team and help the team, build on their marketing, improve the facilities that they have to work with, improve the resources that they have to build on marketing, right? So there's so many things. And then lastly is to become a partner. So if you're a company in the Boston area and you're interested in advertising with the Boston Renegades, or even interested in advertising with the WFA Pro at a national level, there are tons of incredible opportunities to do that and really get your name out there. So those are the 4 ways you can help.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate you coming on today. Is there anything that we missed that you might want to add, or any shout outs you want to give?
I really appreciate you having me on, Molly, and really excited to see the season, and love that I'm local to the Boston area, so I can come to a lot of Renegades games.
Well, thanks, Jess. We really appreciate you coming, and we look forward to everything that you're going to do, that you're bringing to the table, and to what 2023 has to offer. Thank you for everybody for joining us this week. Next week we will have a few of our coaches for you to get to meet and learn about what the plan is for the coming season.